Hello everyone, I'm Dennis. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you GC O-Level Mathematics October-November 2019 paper. Subject code is 4048, paper 1. This video is brought to you by Ace with Dennis. Now, learning can be smart, not hard. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell notification button to stop missing out free lessons from me. Alright, let's start discussing the paper. Question 1. The number of people in a cinema is given as 400, correct to the nearest 100. Write down the minimum number of people that could be in the cinema at this time. 1 mark. So the answer is 350. So this 350 is the minimum number of people, and when we round it up to the nearest 100, it will give us 400. Question number 2. Given this diagram, explain how the chart above may be misleading. 1 mark. So as you can observe from this chart, the more the total spending, the size of the credit card gets bigger. Alright, so now the widths of the cards are not the same. The chart becomes misleading when the areas of the credit cards are used for comparison, as it exaggerates the increase in total spending. Right, so this answer, because the height of the card is not only used to represent the total spending, but is the size of the credit card, which can be misleading. That tells us that 2016 is much more than 2006. Question 3 is indices question, where we need to play around with indices law. A. Simplify bracket x to the power 6 to the power 2/3. 1 mark. So first start with the expression given, bracket x to the power 6 to the power 2/3. We open the bracket where we can multiply the powers, which is x to the power 6 times 2/3. Simplify, we get x to the power 4. So this is the answer. For B, 3 to the power a equals 3 to the power 7 plus 3 to the power 7 plus 3 to the power 7. Find the value of a. 1 mark. So from here, 3 to the power a equals 3 to the power 7 plus 3 to the power 7 plus 3 to the power 7. We can simplify it as 3 times of 3 to the power 7. And since it is multiplied with the body same, right? Same body, which is 3. So we can add the power, which becomes 3 to the power 1 plus 7. So 3 to the power a equals 3 to the power 8. Both sides have the same body, which is 3. Hence, a equals to 8. So 8 is the answer. Question 4. A. Express 360 as a product of its prime factors. 1 mark. So to get the product of the prime factors, we have to do the division. We divide the number 360 with prime numbers. We start with 2, we get 180. Still can divide by 2, we get 90. Continue to divide by 2, we get 45. And now we divide the value with 3, we get 15. So 15 still can be divided by 3, and we get 5. Right, so 5 divided by 5, we get 1. So all these divisors are prime numbers, and we combine them together, which we get 3 cubed times 3 squared times 5. So this is the product of prime factors of 360. For B, the number 360p over q is a perfect cube. P and q are prime numbers. Find the value of p and the value of q. So the question is 1 mark. So from here, 360p over q is equals, as from the part A, it is 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5 p over q. So now we want it to be a perfect cube, so all the powers must be divisible by 3, which is 2 cube times 3 cube. Hence, the p must be 3, right? So that the power of 3 can become 3 cube, and the q must be 5, so that we can cancel the 5. Question 5. The estimated number of Bengal tigers increased from 3,200 in 2010 to 3,890 in 2016. The number increased by R% every year. Find the value of R, 1 mark. So this question, right, the number of tigers increased exponentially, so we can use the compound interest formula, right, to find the R%. So S is the final value, which is 3,890. P is the initial value, right, which is 3,200. So 3,890 equals 3,200 times 1 plus R to the power of 6. Right, the N is 6 because it is from 2010 to 2016, it is 6 years. Right, then we solve this equation. Right, so 1 plus R to the power of 6 equals 3,890 over 3,200. So 1 plus R is 6 root of 3,890 over 3,200. Okay, R, the value, right? So after solving this equation, we get 3.31%, rounded up to 3 significant figures. So this is the answer. Question 6. Write as a single fraction in its simplest form 1 by 2x minus 3 minus 3 by 3x minus 1. 2 marks. Right, so from the expression given, 1 over 2x minus 3 minus 3 over 3x minus 1. So in order to combine them to be a single fraction, we need to make them to have the common denominator, which is 2x minus 3 times 3x minus 1. Right, so the numerator will be 3x minus 1 minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Alright, so the next step is to expand the bracket. So 3x minus 1 minus 6x plus 9. Right, so be careful to expand the bracket at the behind here. Right, so negative 3 times 2x, we get negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 3, we get positive 9. Right, so once we have expanded the bracket, the next step is to simplify. We get negative 3x plus 8 over 2x minus 3 times 3x minus 1. Right, so this is the answer. Question 7. A. A bag contains 8 red counters, 9 green counters, and 3 yellow counters. What is the probability that it is not a yellow counter? 1 mark. So the probability not yellow color equals the number of counters not yellow over the total number of counters. So the number of counters not yellow will be 8 plus 9, because 8 for red counters, 9 for green counters. And the total will be 8 red counters plus 9 green counters plus 3 yellow counters. Simplify, we get 17 by 20. So 17 by 20 is the answer. For B, X green counters are removed from the bag. The probability of choosing a red counter is now 2/3. Find the value of X. 1 mark. So the probability of getting a red will be the number of red counters over the total counters. So given the probability is 2/3 and the number of red counters is still 8 because we add green counters. We remove green counters. So the total counters now will be 20 minus x. Then we solve this equation where 2 times 20 minus x equals 3 times 8. Right, so 20 minus x equals 12, x will be 8. So the answer, x equals 8. Question 8. Use factorization to solve the equation. 3p squared plus p minus 10 equals 0. 3 marks. So as instructed by the question, we need to use factorization to solve the equation. So 3p squared plus p minus 10 equals 0. We have factorized it, so we put 2 brackets here. So p times 3p, we get 3p squared. And 2 times 5, we get 10. So we put a plus here in the first bracket and minus for the second bracket. So p plus 2 equal to 0, or 3p minus 5 equal to 0. Hence, p will be negative 2, or p equals 5 by 3. So the answer, p equals negative 2 or 5 by 3. Question 9. So A, given these three symbols, the first one is less than symbol, the second one is equal symbol, and the third one is greater than symbol. Choose a symbol from the list above to make a correct statement. So here's a statement. We need to compare between 33% with 1/3. Okay, 1 mark here. So is 33% smaller than, equals to, or greater than 1/3? So to compare the values, we have to convert them into decimals so that we can compare them easily. So 33% equals 0.33. Because 33 divided by 100, we get 0.33. So 1/3 will be equals 0.333, and it is never ending. So this is a non-terminating recurring decimals. So from here, we can see that 0.33 is less than 0.333. Hence, 33% will be less than 1/3. For B, solve the inequalities 6 less than or equals to 2x plus 11 or less than 19. So to solve this inequality, we have to split it into two parts. Okay, so 2 marks question here. So the first part is 6 is less than or equals to 2x plus 11. So we solve it. So negative 5 is less than or equals to 2x. Okay, x is greater than or equals to negative 5 over 2. So we solve another inequality, which is 2x plus 11 less than 19. So 2x is less than 8, x is less than 4. Now we need to combine these two inequalities together. We need to draw a number line. So the left hand side will be negative 5 by 2, the right hand side will be 4. Okay, so x is greater or equals to negative 5 by 2, so it's a black dot pointing to the right, and x is less than 4, so at 4, the number 4, it will be a white dot, right, and point to the left. So the x will be in between negative 5 by 2 and 4, so it is greater or equals to negative 5 by 2 and less than 4. Question 10 is a proportion question. P is directly proportional to Q cubed. A. When Q equals 1/3, P equals 2. Find P when Q equals 1 over 6. 2 marks. Right, so given P is directly proportional to Q cubed, so this is the symbol that we write, which means that P equals KQ cubed. Right, then given Q equals to 1/3, P equals 2. So just substitute these two values into the equation. So 2 equals K times 1 over 3 cubed. Okay, so K will be 37 times 2, which is 54. Now we rewrite the equation. P equals 54 Q cubed. Okay, now we can answer the question. When Q equals 1 over 6, substitute this Q equals 1 over 6 into the equation. So P equals 54 times 1 over 6 cubed. Right, so simplify and get the answer. P equals 54 times 1 over 216, which is 1 over 4. Hence the answer is 1 over 4. Okay, B, a change in Q produces a change in P. When the value of Q is multiplied by half, the value of P changes by a factor of M. Find M. So this is the 1 mark question. Okay, so we already know the equation P equals to 54 Q cubed from part A. So when Q is half, right, so it becomes Q over 2, then P will be 54 times Q over 2 cube. So which means it is 54 times Q cube over 8. So now the new P equals M times the old P. So the M will be P new over P old. Okay, so substitute the value. P new will be 54 Q cube over 8. P old will be 54 Q cube. Then simplify, we get 1 over 8. Hence, the factor of M will be 1 over 8. Question 11 is algebra question. So A, factorize x square minus y to the power 4. 1 mark. So x square minus y to the power 4, we can factorize, then becomes x minus y square times x plus y square. Right, so we can't simplify further. So this will be our answer, x minus y square times x plus y square. B, factorize completely 6ab plus 1 minus 3a minus 2b. 2 marks. So given the expression 6ab plus 1 minus 3a minus 2b, okay, we can rearrange this expression so that we will get 6ab minus 3a plus 1 minus 2b, because 6ab and negative 3a have common factor of a. So we can factorize 3a, right? 3a will be the common factor of 6ab and 3a. So it becomes 3a times 2b minus 1. For the last two terms, 1 minus 2b, I can factorize negative. So 1 minus 2b becomes minus bracket 2b minus 1. Okay, so we can further simplify, right? So we can see that 2b minus a minus 1, 2b minus 1, this is the common factor. So factorize out. So we get 2b minus 1 times 3a minus 1. Right, so this is the answer, 2b minus 1 times 3a minus 1. Question 12 is construction question. So given this diagram, the diagram shows a quadrilateral ABCD. On the diagram, A, construct the bisector of angle ADC. Right, so this is the angle ADC. Now we place the pin of the compass at point D. Right, we draw a curve here and another curve here. Right, so the same thing, put the pin at point D and draw this curve. After that, we move on, right, to placing the pin of the compass at this point, right, and we can open the leg of the compass bigger, and we draw this curve, followed by placing the pin at this point, and we draw another curve here. Alright, so we can draw a straight line joining point D and the intersection point here. So this is the point here, right? So this is the angle bisector of ADC. Okay, now for B, construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. Right, so this place the line AB. Right, firstly, place the pin of the compass at point A. Then I draw a curve at the top, and I draw a curve at the bottom. So without changing the distance of the leg, right, we place the pin at point B, draw this curve, followed by drawing this curve. And now we can draw a straight line joining these 2 points. So this is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Next for C, shape the region inside ABCD that is closer to DC than DA and closer to A than to B. Alright, so now for this angle bisector, any point on the angle bisector, it will be equidistant to line AD and line DC. Right, so now if I want to find the region closer to DC than DA, right, so DC than DA, then it will be above this angle bisector, so somewhere here. Now
the perpendicular bisector, right? Any point on the perpendicular bisector will be equidistant to point A and point B, sorry. So I want the region closer to A than B. So it must be the region at the left hand side of the perpendicular bisector. So combining these two criteria, this is the region that we can shape, where it is closer to DC than DA and closer to A than to B.
Question 13 is a vector question. The point A is translated to B with the coordinates of 5, -2 by the vector -3, 7. A. Find the coordinates of point A. 1 mark. Right, so given the coordinates of B is 5, -2, we can obtain the position vector of OB, which is 5, -2. Also given vector AB is -3, 7. So vector OB will be equals vector OA plus vector AB. So if I want to find the coordinates of point A, I need to find the position vector of A, which is vector OA. So we make vector OA the subject, which is equals vector OB minus vector AB. Then we substitute the value. Vector OB will be 5, -2, then minus vector AB, which is -3, 7. Okay, so we combine them together. Negative times negative, we get positive. So 5 plus 3, -2 minus 7, right? And the result will be 8, -9. So this is the position vector of OA. Then we can get the coordinates of point A, which is 8, -9. Hence the answer is 8, -9. So for B, find the magnitude of -3, 7. So 2 marks. To find the magnitude of vector, we can apply Pythagoras theorem. So which is square root of -3 square plus 7 square. And it is square root of 58, which is 7.62 units, rounding off to the 3 significant figures. Hence 7.62 units, 3SF. Question 14 is a bearing question. So given this diagram, the diagram shows the positions of 3 cities, Singapore S, Delhi D, and Tokyo T. Given angle SDT equals 55 degrees, right? So as label in the diagram, 55 degrees here. Okay, so the bearing of Delhi from Singapore is 317 degrees and the bearing of Tokyo from Singapore is 44 degrees. A. Find the bearing of Singapore from Delhi. 1 mark. Okay, so at point Singapore S, we extend the North Pole. Okay, so this is the bearing of Delhi from Singapore given 317 degrees. Okay, so I want to find this angle. Let's label this angle as X. Okay, so X will be 317 degrees minus 180 degrees. Okay, because if you look at the diagram, so this whole North Pole is a straight line. So this angle will be 180 degrees. So this is X, is 317 minus 180. Okay, the value is 137 degrees. Okay, now let's label this angle, which is angle Y, right? So we can say that angle Y equals angle X because it is alternate angles. Okay, so the North Pole here at point S is parallel to the North Pole at point D. So this angle will be equals to this angle because it is alternate angles. So Y will be 137 degrees. Now I want to find the bearing of Singapore from Delhi, okay, which is here, right? This is Delhi, this is Singapore. So this is the bearing, just the value of Y, and it is 137 degrees. Hence, the answer is 137 degrees. So B, find the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo. And it is 2 marks question. So Delhi is here, Tokyo is here. So the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo actually means this angle. Okay, so now I would want to find this angle first. This angle is, let's label it as Z. So z will be 137 degrees minus 55 degrees. Okay, the y, right, minus 55 degrees, I get the z, and the value is 82 degrees. Now I want to find this angle. This angle, let's label it as A, right? So again, the north poles, right, are parallel to each other. So I can say that A equals 180 degrees minus 82 degrees, which is the Z, right? Okay, the reason is because it is interior angles. So the value of A will be 98 degrees. Now I want to find the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo, which is this angle, as you can see here, right, this angle. Okay, so to get the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo, so very simple now, right, which is 360 degrees minus 98 degrees, right? So it will form a circle for the angle A and the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo. Then the value is 262 degrees. Hence, 262 degrees is the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo. Question 15. Given the x and the y axis, sketch the graph of y equals negative bracket x minus 2 square plus 9 on the axis below. Indicate clearly the coordinates of the points where the graph crosses the axis and the maximum point on the curve. 3 marks. Right, to sketch this graph, we need to find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts and also the maximum point. So let's start with the y-intercept first. We need to let x equal to 0. So when x equals to 0, the equation becomes y equals negative bracket 0 minus 2 square plus 9, which is 5. So y equals to 5. This is the y-intercept. Now we move on to find the x-intercept. We let y equal to 0. So the equation becomes 0 equals negative x minus 2 square plus 9, which means x minus 2 square equals 9, or x minus 2 equals to 3, or x minus 2 equals to negative 3. So x can be equals to 5 or x equals to negative 1. So these two are the x-intercepts. Next, we need to find the maximum point. So from the equation y equals negative bracket x minus 2 square plus 9, so this equation is in the completing the square form. So the value 2 here will tell us the x coordinate of the maximum point, and the 9 is the y coordinate of the maximum point. Hence, the maximum point will be 2, 9. Notice that the sign for this 2 here, which is negative, is switched to become positive when we are finding the maximum point. Alright, so now we can start to plot the graph. So the graph will look like this, where this is the y-intercept, which is the value is 5, and this is the x-intercept, the value is negative 1 and 5. And this is the maximum point with the coordinates of 2, 9. So label this graph y equals negative x minus 2 square plus 9. Question 16. Given this diagram, A, TA and TB are tangents to a circle center O. Show that triangle OAT and triangle OBT are congruent. Give a reason for each statement you make. 3 marks. Right, so from here, angle TAO equals angle TBO, which is this angle equals to this angle. Reasons because tangent is perpendicular to the radius, and the value is 90 degrees. Next, we also know that OA equals to OB because both are radius of the circle. Then angle AOT equals angle BOT, which is this angle equals to this angle. The reason is because OT bisects angle AOB. So this is angle AOB, and OT bisects this angle. So from here, by ASA, triangle AOT and triangle OBT are congruent. Then shown. For B, point P lies on the circumference of the circle so that triangle APT is congruent to triangle BPT. On the diagram, mark two possible positions of for the point P, 1 mark. So we need to know that point P must lie on line OT so that the two triangles can be congruent. So the first possible location for point P will be here. And this is the triangle APT, and this is the triangle BPT. Both are congruent. Or another location for point P could be, we extend the line TO, and this is point P. So this will be the triangle APT, and this will be the triangle BPT. Question 17. Given this graph, this is a distance time graph. The distance time graph shows the journeys for two people, Noor and Lim, between two villages A and B. A. Find Noor's speed for the first hour of a journey. 1 mark. Alright, so look at this graph, and this line is Noor's line. Okay, so the first hour from 10 to 11. So this is we need to find the speed from 10 to 11 a.m. Okay, we know that speed equals the gradient of graph if it is a distance time graph. So we need to find the gradient for the first hour. So it is rise over run. So which is this one, this is a rise, right? The value is 3.6 kilometers, and this is the run, the value is 1 hour. So just substitute the value inside 3.6 kilometers per 1 hour, which is 3.6 kilometers per hour. Okay, the answer will be 3.6 kilometers per hour. B1. Find the time when Noor and Lim pass each other. 1 mark. So in order for them to pass each other, their distance must be the same. So this will be the point, right? The point of intersection, right, will be the time when they pass each other because their distance is the same. So we look at the time here, it is 12:24 p.m. 2. How far are they from village B when they pass each other? Okay, so 1 mark question here. So we need to see what's the distance when they meet each other. It is 6.8 kilometers. So this 6.8 kilometers is from village A. So to village B, we look at the point at B there, it is 14.8. So the distance from village B will be 14.8 minus 6.8, and it is 8 kilometers. Hence, 8 kilometers is the answer. C. Lim jogs back to village B at 8 kilometers per hour. Change 8 kilometers per hour into meters per second. 1 mark. So 8 kilometers per hour will be equals 8,000 meters per 1 hour. Then we multiply with 1 hour per 60 minutes. And 1 minute is per 60 seconds. Simplify, we get 2.22 meters per second. Or we just take 8,000 meters divided by 3,600 seconds. Because 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. Right, so round to 3SF here. The answer will be 2.22 meters per second. Question 18 is sets question. Given these sets, so set universal is integers where the range will be from 4 to 16. Set P is sets of prime numbers. Set Q is the set of multiples of 4. Set R is the set of factors of 30. So the question A, list the elements in 1. Set R. So 1 mark. Now set R is the factors of 30. Let's write down all the factors of 30. So it can be 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, or 5 times 6. So since the range of x will be from 4 to 16 as defined by the universal set, hence the elements of R will be 5, 6, 10, and 15. 2. P intersect R. 1 mark. So we need to list down all the elements in P. So P is prime numbers, right? So elements of P will be 5, 7, 11, and 13. Now let's check if they have any common elements between R and P since it is intersect. Okay, there is one element which is a common element and the element is 5. Hence, P intersect with R is the element is 5. Okay, B, underline the correct statements from the list below. R intersect with Q equals empty sets. Q union with R, the elements are 5, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Q intersect P intersect with Q is the element is 0. So be careful, this does not mean it is empty set. It means the element is 0. So Q is proper subset of R and 16 is not the element of P. So 2 marks question. So firstly, read the question carefully. So the question says that underline the correct statements. It means that the answer could be and should be more than one answer. Another thing you can check is total marks is 2 marks. So I will expect that they will have 2 answers. Right? So let's check one by one. R intersect with Q is empty set. Okay, now compare the elements in P and R. Do they have R and Q? So we have to list down all the elements of Q. Q is multiples of 4, so the elements of Q will be 4, 8, and 12. Now compare Q and R. Do they have any common elements? They don't have any common elements. Hence, R intersect with Q is empty set. This is the correct statement. Okay, now followed by Q union with R. So Q, I want the union with R, right? Is it 5, 6, 8, 10, and 12? So check. All the elements of Q and R must be inside. And you can see that 15 is not inside. Okay, and 4 is not inside. So this statement is incorrect. Next one, P intersect with Q is the element is 0. Okay, so P is this element is here, the Q element is here. So there is no element with 0. Okay, so that's what I said just now, right? Be careful, this does not mean this is empty set. It means that the element is 0. So this statement is incorrect. Okay, next one, Q is proper subset of R. So Q is this, right? The set is 4, 8, 12. The R is 5, 10, 5, 6, 10, 15. So all these elements is not inside set R. Hence, this statement is incorrect as well. So lastly, 16 is not subset, is not element of P. So this is the element of P, right? There is no 16 inside. Hence, this statement is correct. Question 19. Anne and Ben each have a saving account. The ratio of Anne's savings to Ben's savings is 7 to 5. They each spend $60 from their savings. The new ratio now becomes Anne's savings to Ben's savings is 3 to 2. The question is find how much money Anne now has in her account. So 4 marks. First, let A to be Anne's savings and B to be Ben's savings. So from the information given, the ratio of A to B is 7 to 5. Hence, we can form the equation A over B equals 7 to 5. So B equals 5 over 7A. Now the new ratio after they spend $60 each, right, is 3 to 2. So we can form the equation A minus 60 over B minus 60 equals 3 over 2. Then we cross multiply 2A minus 120 equals 3B minus 180. So we simplify 3B minus 2A equals 180 minus 120. Now we substitute B equals 5 by 7A into this equation. So it becomes 3 times 5 over 7A minus 2A equals to 60. Right, now solve this equation. 15 over 7A minus 2A equals 60.
or 1 over 7a equals 60. Hence, a will be 420. Okay, but this is not the answer because the answer, the question wants what is the money after spending $60. So the new amount of money that ends have is 420 minus 60, which is $360. So $360 is the final answer. Question 20 is similar figure question. So given this diagram with two bottles, the small bottle and a bigger bottle. The diagram shows two geometrically similar bottles. The diameter of the base of the smaller bottle is 4 centimeters. The diameter of the base of the larger bottle is 10 centimeters. A. The height of the larger bottle is 30 centimeters. Calculate the height of the smaller bottle. 2 marks. So since these two bottles are similar, then the ratio of the height will be equals to the ratio of the diameter. Hence, h1 over h2 equals d1 over d2. So we take h1 as the smaller bottle, h2 as the bigger bottle. So h1 over 30 equals 4 over 10. So h1 equals 4 over 10 times 30, which is 12 centimeters. Therefore, the answer is 12 centimeters. B. The smaller bottle has a capacity of 120 ml. The manufacturer makes another geometrically similar bottle that holds 500 ml. Calculate the diameter of the base of this bottle. 2 marks. So another similar bottles, right? Then now the ratio of the volume will be equals to the ratio of the diameter cubed. So we substitute the values inside. We take the V1 as the larger bottle, V2 as the smaller bottle. So it will be 500 over 125. So D1 is the larger bottle, which we want to find. Okay, and D2 will be the diameter of the smaller bottle. So for this case is 4 centimeters. So D1 over 4, then we cube it. So once we form the correct equation, we just need to solve the equation. So D1 over 4 cube equals 4. So D1 will be cube root of 4 times 4, and the value is 6.35 centimeters, rounding off to 3SF. So the final answer, 6.35 centimeters 3SF.
Question 21. The cost in cents of printing black and white copies and color copies on two printers, A and B, is represented by the matrix P. So here is the matrix P, where the columns A and B, right? So the vertical column, so this represents printer A, and this is printer B. So for the horizontal rows, right, this row represent black and white, and this row represent the color printing. Okay, this is the cost. A. Gokmin and Suman each has access to the printers A and B. Ko needs to print 24 black and white copies and 14 color copies. Min needs to print 29 black and white copies and X color copies. Suman needs to print 20 black and white copies and 15 color copies. Represent this information in a matrix 3 times 2 matrix Q. So you need to fill up the matrix Q here, 1 mark. So what you need to do is very simple. Just copy down all the values, right? Like this one, 24 and 14. So 24, 14. Okay, then followed by 29 and X, followed by 20 and 15. So this is the answer, matrix Q. C. If Ko and Min both use printer A, Min would pay 70 cents less than Ko. Find the value of X. 1 mark. So first we need to understand this matrix T. So the first row is the cost, printing cost for Ko. Second row is the printing cost for Min. And the third row is the printing cost for Suman. On the other hand, the first column is the cost for printing A, and the second column is the cost of printing for printer B. So based on the information given, we need to use this value, which is the cost of printing for Co, and this value, which is the printing cost using printer A for min. Hence, we can form the equation 290 plus 40x equals 800 minus 70. So now we solve the equation 40x equals 800 minus 70 minus 290. So x will be 440 over 40, which is 11. Hence, the value of x is 11. Question 22. Given this diagram, the diagram shows the points A with the coordinates of -2, 1, B with the coordinates of 7, -5, and P with the coordinates of 5, 4. Q is a point on AB so that PQ is perpendicular to AB. The product gradient of PQ times gradient of AB equals -1. Use this information to find the equation of the line PQ. So for this question, it's 4 marks. Okay, now we can use the information given, the gradient of PQ times the gradient of AB equals -1, as the line PQ is perpendicular to the line AB. So I want to find the gradient of PQ. We can know the gradient of AB, so which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the value is 1 minus -5 over -2 minus 7 equals to -1. Hence, MPQ times -2/3 equals -1. MPQ will be 3 by 2. Now we can form the equation of PQ, where y equals to mx plus c. The m is 3 by 2. And we want to find the value of c. We can just choose coordinates of P, which is 5, 4. So 5 is the x value, and y is the 4 is of y value. So the equation becomes 4 equals 3 by 2 times 5 plus c. And the c is -7 over 2. So the equation becomes y equals 3 over 2 x minus 7 over 2. Or we can multiply 2 for both sides. We get 2y equals 3x minus 7. So 2y equals 3x minus 7 is the final answer. Question 23. Given this rectangle with the scale of 1 centimeters represents n meters. The diagram shows the floor plan of Cheryl's rectangular bedroom. The actual area of the floor is 19.2 meters square. A. Using the plan, find the value of n. 2 marks. Okay, so first take a ruler and measure. The length is 6 centimeters and the breadth will be 5 centimeters. Okay, so the area of this rectangle will be 5 times 6, which is 30 centimeters square. Now we want to form the ratio. So 19.2 meters square, which is the actual area. We can convert it into centimeters. So 19.2 times 1 meter times 1 meter, it is equivalent to 19.2 times 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, which will give us 192,000 centimeters square. So the ratio is 30 centimeters square to 192,000 centimeters square. Simplify, we get 1 centimeter square to 6,400 centimeters square. Then we square root both figures, 1 centimeter square and square root of 6,400 centimeters square. We get 1 centimeter to 80 centimeters. Since the n is in meters, hence we convert the 80 centimeters to 0.8 meters. Hence the n will be 0.8. B. Cheryl decides to varnish the floor in her bedroom. The varnish she needs is sold in tins of 3 sizes. So the first size is 250 ml, which is $24. The second size is 500 ml, which is $42.50. And the third size is 1 liter, which is $85.95. 1 liter of varnish covers 16 meters square. Calculate the least amount of money that Cheryl needs to pay for the varnish. So this question is 3 marks. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we want to find the amount of varnish needed. So the area is 19.2 meters square and divided by 16, right, meters square. So we need 1.2 liters. Okay, because 1 liter of varnish covers 16 meters square. Okay, now we need to choose how many tins or which tin that we need to buy so that it will be the least cost. Okay, now we go and calculate the average cost for each tin. So the first tin is $24 divided by 250, which is $0.096 per ml. For the second tin, $42.50 divided by 500 ml, and we get $0.085 per ml. The third tin is $85.95 divided by 1000 ml, because 1 liter is 1000 ml. So the cost is $0.08595 per ml. Okay, so now firstly we want to compare. We find that the cost for 50 ml, 500 ml will be cheaper than the cost of 1 liter, because you can compare, right? For 500 ml, the cost is $0.085 per ml, but for 1 liter, the cost is $0.08595 per ml. Okay, then our combination will be the least amount of money equals the cost of 2 tins of 500 ml instead of 1 tin of 1 liter. As I mentioned, 500 ml is cheaper, and plus 1 tin of 250 ml. Okay, now we can calculate the total cost, which is 2 times $42.50 plus $24. And the total cost will be $109. So the final answer is $109. Question 24. A. Given this diagram, which is a histogram, the histogram shows the distribution of the heights of 60 young trees. 1. Which interval contains the median height? 1 mark. So in order to determine the median, we need to take the total. For this case is 60 divided by 2, and the answer is 30. So from here, the median is between 30th and 31st data. So we need to go and identify where is the 30th and the 31st data. Okay, so the first bar, the total frequency is 4, followed by the second bar, the frequency is 5. Okay, so add together, the cumulative frequency is 9. The next bar, frequency is 8, so the cumulative frequency is 17. Okay, still not reaching 30 yet, right? 30 and 31st. So the fourth bar is 11, the frequency, and the cumulative frequency is 28. Okay, so one more bar because we haven't reached 30th data yet. So the next bar is frequency, the frequency is 14, so the cumulative frequency is 42. Okay, so now we know that median is in this bar. So the answer is median class is 180 centimeters to 200 centimeters. 2. Calculate an estimate of the mean height of the tree. So we know that 1 mark question. So we know that mean formula is summation of fx over summation of f. Okay, so we have to find the middle value for the class interval. So from 100 to 120, the middle point will be 110, followed by the next one, 120 to 140, the middle point is 130, 140 to 160, middle point is 150. So next interval, the middle point is 170, the next one 190, the next one 210, and the last bar is 230. Okay, now we also determine the frequency for the last two bars. Okay, so this bar is 12 and the frequency for the last bar is 6. Okay, now we can apply the formula for this mean. Okay, where it is 4 times 110 plus 5 times 130 plus 8 times 150 plus 11 times 170 plus 14 times 190 plus 12 times 210 plus 6 times 230, then divided by total frequency, which is 60. Okay, then you just press calculator, the value will be 178 and 2/3 centimeters. So 178 2/3 centimeters is the final answer. B. Given this cumulative frequency graph. The cumulative frequency graph also represents the heights of the 60 trees. Use the graph to find 1. The number of trees with a height of at least 1.92 meters. 1 mark. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is we have to convert 1.92 meters to centimeters. So which is 192 centimeters because in the graph the height is given in centimeters. Okay, so now this is 1.92 and the frequency will be 36. So this 36 is the cumulative frequency, which means there are 36 trees which is the height is less than 1.92 meters. Okay, so the number of trees at least 1.92 meters will be 60 minus 36 because 60 is the total trees, 36 is the number of trees less than 1.92 meters, and the answer is 24. So there are 24 trees with a height of less than or at least 1.92 meters. Okay, part 2, the interquartile range of the heights. 1 mark. So we know that the formula for interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1, or the third quartile minus the first quartile. So we have to find the value for the third quartile. So here is where we find the third quartile, where third quartile is at the 75% of the data. So from here, total 60 trees, right? So 75% of 60 trees is 45. And the value will be 204. So this is the third quartile, Q3, 204. So we repeat a similar process to find the first quartile, Q1. First quartile is 25% of the total trees. So the value is 15. And the Q1 will be 156. So interquartile range will be 204 minus 156 and we get 54. So 54 is the interquartile range. C. Another set of trees has heights with an interquartile range of 36 centimeters. Explain what this tells us about the second set of trees compared with the first. 1 mark. Alright, so if you want to compare two sets of data in terms of interquartile range, it will relate to consistency. So the lower the interquartile range, the higher the consistency, or it is more consistent. So this set, the second set of data has interquartile range of 36 centimeters, while the first set of data has interquartile range of 54. So the answer for this question is the height of the trees in the second set are more consistent than the first set as the interquartile range is lower. Question 25. A. The first four terms of a sequence are 8, 11, 14, and 17. The sum of the first n terms of this sequence is given by Pn squared plus Qn. When n equals 1, P plus Q equals 8. Show that 4P plus 2Q equals 19. 1 mark. Okay, so since it is given n equals 1, is p plus q equals to 8. So we can continue with n equals to 2. So the total here will be p times 2 square plus q times 2 from the given formula, and it is equals to the addition of the first term and the second term, which is 8 plus 11. Then we simplify this equation, we get 4p plus 2q equals to 19, which is the equation that we want to form. Hence, shown. 2. Solve p plus q equals 8, and 4p plus 2q equals to 19. So 3 marks. In other words, you have to solve simultaneous equation. So I will label the first equation as equation number 1, second equation as equation number 2. Okay, I will want to use the elimination method. Okay, so how to perform elimination method? I have to make the coefficient of one of the unknown here, either p or q, to be the same. So I will choose to eliminate q first. Hence, I will say that equation number 1 multiplied with 2, I will get 2p plus 2q equals to 16. Notice that now the coefficient of q for these two equations is the same, which is 2. Right, now I label this equation as equation 3. Then I will say equation 2 minus equation 3. So 4p minus 2p, I will get 2p. 2q minus 2q will cancel each other. 19 minus 16, I will get 3. So p will be equals 3 by 2. Now I know the p value, which is 3 by 2. I will substitute p equals 3 by 2 into equation 1. Okay, so it becomes 3 over 2 plus q equals 8. I solve this equation. Q is 13 over 2. So my answer will be p equals 3 over 2 and q equals 13 over 2. B. The sum of the first n terms of a different sequence is given by 3n squared plus 7n. Find the 10th term of this sequence. 2 marks. So given the formula of the sum of n terms, which is Sn, equals 3n squared plus 7n, in order to get the 10th term, we can take the sum of the first 10 terms minus the sum of the first 9 terms. So S10 minus S9. Then we apply the formula. For S10 will be 3 times 10 squared plus 7 times 10. Then minus the sum of the first 9 terms, which is 3 times 9 squared plus 7 times 9. Then calculate everything, we get 64. So the 10th term will be 64.
Alright, that's the end of the paper, and that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Do you have any question or doubts to ask? Feel free to write it down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Do you like this video? Please don't forget to like it and share it. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Have a great day ahead.